What's going on, beautiful people? I am back with a new episode of the Conscious Approach podcast. My name is JV Wins. I thought I'd spend a video talking about Onlyfans because the recent news that came out about Onlyfans is being interpreted by many as sort of a victory in the battle against good and evil. And I think people need to dial it back because, number one, it's not as big a win as you think it is, primarily because it's not going to change anything. But for anybody who's been living under a rock, OnlyFans, which is a premium, sort of social network that allows people to, charge. It's like subscription based. So you can go on, you can become a part of OnlyFans and charge your subscribers to view premium content. You get a cut of it, the largest cut, and then the service provider itself gets a small cut. But what it's become primarily known for is porn. It has created an outlet for mainly women to procure a very healthy living for themselves by producing adult content for their subscribers. So you have actual porn stars who are on OnlyFans making a whole lot of money, and then you have amateur porn stars they don't exactly have the notoriety of some of the bigger names, but nevertheless, they have a very hefty following. They make a ton of money on OnlyFans, producing sexually explicit content, and, subscribers pay to be able to have access to that content. And, OnlyFans is trying to branch out and not be singularly known as a, platform for sexually explicit content. They want to do more than that. But that's what it's become known for. That is what most people go to it for. That is what people use the service for. And they want to break away from that. They want to become all encompassing. And as a result, beginning in October, sexually explicit content will be banned from the platform. So, OnlyFans models who either are having full-on sex, in front of a camera on OnlyFans, or some of the ones who don't go all the way, but they post, explicit photos or videos with them being by themselves, whatever the case may be. The point is, a lot of that stuff is being exercised from the platform as OnlyFans, fleshes out its community guidelines with respect to sexually explicit activity, basically giving them the ability to be able to remove any such content because they are tired of dealing with being stigmatized as a glorified destination for essentially porn. Now, me personally, the way I feel about OnlyFans, in my opinion, I've always accepted it as an offshoot of the current sexual marketplace. However, I don't respect it. So I'm not one of these guys who goes off talking about OnlyFans girls, very much in the same way that I don't spend an inordinate amount of time, criticizing Instagram models for how fleeting that position can be, how the long-term sustainability of it, is a bit non-existent if you believe such a thing. Whether you think it's sustainable or not long-term, I've never really wasted too much of my emotional and psychological energy criticizing women who resort to the platform, because my personal stance has always been, if you perceive it to be such an issue, don't capitulate to behaviors that create a market to exist so that these people can be able to do what they do on these platforms. It's as simple as that. But having said that, I still don't respect it because I'm a bit more old school in terms of my mentality. I respect individuals who are able to build something by tapping into a talent or an ability that they have, fleshing that ability out, mastering it, and then being able to make money off of it by making a meaningful contribution to society. So, I've never really respected Instagram models or OnlyFans models or anything like that because they aren't, in my opinion, contributing to society. They are just taking advantage of the opportunity to make money off of a growing segment of men who lack these social skills or self-esteem to be able to meet women in person. And so they relegate themselves to a life of virtual love. But that is more of a level of accountability that needs to be associated with these men out here than the women. Um, I just think that, it's human nature to take advantage of an opportunity, right? So if you're raising a child and you don't instill the child with discipline, when the child gets older and the child is undisciplined, that is a reflection on your failure as a parent. It's not a reflection on the child. If you raise pets, if you raise an animal, if you have a dog and you've been feeding the dog people food ever since it was a pup, and now the dog is an adult and won't eat anything but people food, you can't get mad at the dog. That's your failure as the parent of the dog to impress upon the dog, the fact that it will be eating, dog food and not people food. People get a little bent out of shape sometimes when I use analogies that equate people to animals, but I am not equating people to animals. I am merely analogizing the situation in order for it to not go over people's heads. But be that as it may, my personal philosophy has always been assess the progeniting behavior of something if you believe it to be a problem. So if you think OnlyFans is such an issue, if you think it's messing up the dating marketplace, if you have a problem with women who are able to go on OnlyFans and make all of this money, while you as a man have to grit and grind through med school or law school or something like that, engineering school, in order to be able to do and make the same kind of money that these women are able to make at 18, 19 years old just because they look good, I think that you owe it to yourself to self-assess and stop blaming the women, because all they're doing is taking advantage of an internal weakness in a growing segment of men in modern society. It's not really on them. All they're doing is capitalizing off of an opportunity. If you want it to stop, then men everywhere need to stop capitulating to the behavior. Stop giving these women money on OnlyFans. Stop liking and commenting their photos and videos on Instagram. Stop DMing them on Instagram. All of this behavior needs to stop. Now, if you don't think it's a problem, keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. But you never want to assess the yield of a problem. You want to assess the cause of it. And the fact of the matter is, the cause for why OnlyFans has proliferated in such a way is because there is such a huge segment of men who are willing and able to, give their money, time, and resources to virtual love and feel as though they're a part of being with a woman who they don't even know. But, that's my personal take on OnlyFans. Moreover, the reason why this isn't actually a victory ties into my personal philosophy when it comes to OnlyFans. Um, whether it's OnlyFans or whether it's some other platform, the market still exists. So as long as there is such a huge segment of guys, and make no mistake about it, the numbers are there. Most of the people who are spending money on OnlyFans are men. And as long as there is such a huge segment of men who are who willfully give their money or are willing to give their money to amateur porn stars or full-on porn stars, or women who post photos and videos on OnlyFans, as long as there is such a huge segment of men who see no issue with doing it, the market still exists. And as long as the market still exists, there will always be another platform that can come in and fill the void in order to provide the market with the service. So, you might look at this as a momentary victory, but in the long term, none of this is going to stop. It'll persist. Even as I record this video, I believe you can post sexually explicit content on Patreon. You just have to clarify that it is for audiences 18 and up. But there are already platforms that are currently in existence that allow you to post the exact same content. So all it's going to take, once OnlyFans ceases to exist in its current iteration, for this thing to continue to keep going, is for Patreon or somebody like this to just step in and fill the void. And the market will continue to dictate that there is a demand for this service. Now, if you really want to kill this thing, if you really want to cut it off, if you really want to stop it, if you really want to bring balance to the force, if we really want to foresee a society in which women are just maybe not completely unable to, but at least less able to, gain social notoriety and huge sums of money as fast as the income may be. If you want to curb this, and we foresee a society in which women are unable to become as successful as they can come just based off of the sake of their existence, then men need to stop capitulating to the behavior that creates the market. Now, me personally, I don't foresee that taking place, but this is basically a video to all y'all running around out there jumping up for joy because OnlyFans has announced that they don't want to be known solely as a platform for professional and amateur pornography. Like, this isn't really the victory that you think it is, because another platform will come in and fill the void. And with all of these emerging technologies coming out and these new economies, this blockchain stuff and all of this cryptocurrency stuff, NFTs and all of this thing, it's not going to take much for some genius out in Silicon Valley to, create a new social networking platform that synchronizes with NFTs and cryptocurrencies that allows for sexually explicit content. And these women are just going to migrate to these platforms, and all of their mindless, sexless male followers are going to follow them to those platforms and continue to spend the money. And the fact that it's crypto or NFT ain't going to stop them. The world is, changing rapidly. And, these guys are smart. They might have no social skills, self-esteem, and a complete and utter lack of an ability to communicate with women in person, which is why they're on these platforms in the first place. But they at least know how to use their brain and figure out how to procure cryptocurrency so that they can pay their favorite amateur porn stars in crypto on whatever platform they end up being on it on. Like, you know what I'm saying? So this is not really the news that, in my opinion, this is not really the news that a lot of people are thinking that it is. This is just a drop in the bucket. And just as an aside, I think that this is a mistake on OnlyFans' part. It's very difficult to pivot into a new sector of American industry when the vast majority of your customer base and the vast majority of the means by which you generate revenue knows you for one singular thing. It's hard to pivot off that. I think even in October, when OnlyFans turns on their community guideline lights and you can't, post sexually explicit content anymore, people are still going to perceive OnlyFans to be a platform for sexually explicit content. And when you're no longer providing the type of content that people come to your platform for, they're just going to seek it elsewhere. They're not going to stay on your platform and just decide to subscribe to people who are giving out cooking recipes or who are, making personal trainer videos. Like, the segment of people who are going to OnlyFans for that type of stuff pales in comparison to the overwhelming amount of people who are coming to you to watch porn. Like, that's why people are going to OnlyFans. So strategically, I don't know that this was the wisest decision on OnlyFans' part, but the business person in me understands no one in modern American industry wants to be singularly known for pornography. It's a bad stigma, but it's a stigma nevertheless that's making you money. So when it's generating that much revenue for you, and you know that in all likelihood it's going to be difficult for you to pivot, in my opinion, your best option is to just lean into that as best you can and ride the wave, because you're making the money, so it is what it is. But this is a general message about the decision and how people are perceiving it. Like, I hear certain content creators, Kevin Samuel says very often that when OnlyFans is gone, Subway will be hiring. And I understand the sentiment, but I really do think that as long as the progeniting behavior persists, the market will persist. And as long as the market persists, there will always be a demand for this type of thing. So, if OnlyFans decides that they don't want to be in the sexually explicit game, it'll just be another platform that steps in to fill the void, because the market is still dictating that there's a demand for it. So I've never really quite agreed completely with the idea that this stuff is just entirely fleeting. I think it's fleeting from the standpoint of the individuals who are involved, because there are certain emotional and psychological impacts that being in the sex industry in that manner can have on you, both personally and professionally. Good luck being a woman who, did her thing on OnlyFans, but now you want to get out of the game and find a respectable husband and have a family and children. Like, good luck with that. So that's more of an impact in terms of being, a part of something like OnlyFans, from the standpoint of the people who are a part of, creating the content for this stuff. But, the market nevertheless will still be around. So somebody, whether it's Patreon or whatever other platform that there is, they'll step in and fill the void. So I've been somebody who has kind of been a bit on an island in my belief that I don't really think it's all that fleeting. I think it will continue, sadly. And the reason why it will continue is because, you know, for whatever reason, I don't know the socioeconomic or the social dynamics in play here, but I know that I have observed that there's a large segment of men, and this segment of men just continues to grow. It's getting larger, of guys who just are ill-equipped to meet women in person. They lack the confidence, the self-esteem, the social skills. Maybe it's because they're growing up, in a reality in which social media has been a part of their life for so long. I don't know what the psychology of it is. I don't get that part. I've always been somebody who's built in such a way that, you know, if there's a woman on OnlyFans and she looks good, I can walk outside of my door right now and go to the grocery store and see 10, 20, 30 more women who look just as good as that girl that's on OnlyFans. And I'd rather invest my time and money and energy in meeting those women in person. Not to mention the fact that the vast majority of these women who are out here in person are willing to do everything that these women on OnlyFans are doing, and they're willing to do it for you in person if you can just, not strike out. And I understand that that's easier said than done, but it's out here for you, guys. Like, it's out here for you. Getting beautiful women is not some unicorn fairy tale notion that's not actually achievable. Like, this thing is possible, especially if you are living within a social ecosystem that makes it easier for you to attain it. Like if you're in college or something like that. I've just never understood, and maybe somebody can explain it to me in the comment section, like why guys actually do this. I'm not cut from that cloth. I'm not built that way. I'd much rather get it for myself in person than to resort to getting my rocks off via virtual love, especially when it's so bountiful. There's so many women out here in person. And like I said, it just upsets me even more thinking about it because so many women are willing to do everything that these women in these videos are doing. They are. They're now, they're going to do it only for you, presumably, but they're there and they're ready to do it for you. But you want to get on OnlyFans and give your money to some chick who is not contributing anything meaningful to society. She is just exacerbating the great weakness internally inherent in you, that you don't have the ability to be able to go out and get this for yourself. There's a huge generation of men growing up who are sexless. I call it involuntary celibacy. They are involuntarily, well, maybe they're not involuntarily. I think these guys who do this OnlyFans stuff, you're voluntarily celibate, bro. You are willfully celibate. And good dudes out here who are cut the right way, who are willing to get it for themselves in person, they might be having an increasingly difficult time not being sexless because so many girls are saying, what do I need you for? I can just do my thing on Instagram and OnlyFans. So they're the ones who are involuntarily celibate. But a lot of y'all out here who are willing to spend your money like this on these platforms, man, shame on you. Seriously, shame on you. And that's where I'll leave it when it comes to this OnlyFans thing. I don't really see it as much of a win. Personally, I think it's a strategic mistake on OnlyFans' part, because when you've been known for something for so long, best to just lean into it and make your money, because trust, like I said, the market will always persist. So it's not like you were going to stop making money. You were going to continue to make your money. You were going to continue to generate revenue, 10 times over, year over. You'll always be in the black. So it's not like the money was ever going to dry up. You had cornered the market in terms of, social networking with respect to sexually explicit activity. Might as well just stay in the game and just make your money like you can. But hey, I'm just a guy who makes videos. I don't run OnlyFans, so maybe y'all are smarter than me and y'all will figure it out. I hope so for your sake that you can, but I can assure you that the market still demands the service. So there will just be another content creator platform that will step in, fill the void, and provide the same service. And these women will go to that service and do what they do. And these sorry ass lames will continue to spend their money on OnlyFans. So, the moral of the story, kiddos, is a lot of y'all out here who complain about the inequities in the sexual marketplace. You don't like what's going on with the social media. It bothers you that these women have such leverage in the game because they're able to use these platforms to essentially get to a point financially and socially in life that you have to work 40 years for before you can even get there, and they can do it at age 18. Like, if y'all have such an issue with this, stop capitulating to the behaviors that allow for such things to persist. It's all about assessing the progeniting behavior. Stop blaming the yield. It ain't about the yield. These women on OnlyFans and Instagram and all of that, they're merely the yield. They're not the cause. If you want something to stop, you assess the cause. So, OnlyFans in October, no more sexually explicit content. But my prediction, and I don't even think it's that bold or scientific of a prediction, is that another content creator platform will step in and fill the void. So I really don't see this as much news at all, to be honest with you. If anything, I think it can serve, hopefully, as a wake-up call to a few of you dudes who are too afraid to go to the gym or the grocery store or to a bar or to a club and try to meet women in person, to see that it's not going to stop, and that if you don't wake up and unplug yourself from the matrix, you will have spent enough money throughout the course of your lifetime that you could have allocated towards starting a business. And you would have spent that much money giving it to women who don't give a shit about you on OnlyFans. And all for what? For absolutely nothing. And, we have a reproductive problem in our society. We got a lot of men growing up. We got dudes who are, becoming, they're losing their virginity much later in age. We got a large segment of dudes who are completely sexless. A lot of guys who aren't even going to reproduce and have children because a lot of this madness is going on. But dudes, you have no one to blame but yourselves. It's not the women's fault. Because trust me, if you put a muzzle on the marketplace, then the service providers of that market will no longer have a service to provide, and they'll stop. Trust me, they'll stop. It's not rocket science. They'll stop. But, OnlyFans, I hope it works out. But the point is, dudes, stop spending your money on this stuff. Seriously. And a lot of y'all know damn well that you'll just follow your favorite OnlyFans star to whatever new platform provides them with the opportunity to continue to give you what you need, which is endless nights of virtual love. So that'll do it for the commentary in this video. If you like the commentary in this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching this video on Facebook, please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Just search Conscious Approach. Be sure to follow the Conscious Approach page on Instagram at ConApproach, ConApproach. Also check out the website, consciousapproach.com. We house a full content library there. You can find me on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS, as well as on Facebook, Javis Ogden, JVIS, OGDEN. Good luck to all you virtual lovers out there who spend your money on OnlyFans. I'm not built that way, but maybe you know something that I don't. I'd rather just continue to do what I'm doing and meet these women in person, but call me crazy. That'll do it for the commentary in this video. Until next time, thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Thank you for supporting the platform. And always remember to support logical content. Peace.